Hello, everybody. It's my absolute pleasure to join you this morning. Before we get started, I just wanted to introduce myself and tell you guys a little bit about me and my background. So my name is Brittany Watkins, and I am one of two HR business partners here at the Target Distribution Center in Woodland, California. I've been with Target almost 5 years, actually, so I'm really excited to hit that milestone. It'll be 5 years in August. And I've been in HR for just over a year, actually. I actually moved up to the Northern California area for this role specifically. So I got here last March, and then 10 days later, the world shut down. So it was a super interesting time to relocate and to be somewhere new. But you know what? I wouldn't trade it for the world because we were able to accomplish so many cool things last year when our community needed us most. So it was really cool to be a part of that. Prior to being in the Sacramento area, I got my start with Target down in the Bakersfield area, which is where I'm from. So I graduated from Cal State Bakersfield with my degree in finance. And then I slept for like a month because I was exhausted. And then I was kind of like at this now what? And so I was connected to Target through a friend and I was able to join the team in operations. So I'm fairly knowledgeable about the operations part of our business as well, because I did that prior to HR. Before coming to Target, I worked in restaurant for about a decade while I put myself through school. I am the first woman in my family to get a degree. Whoop, whoop. So yeah, that's right. So I put myself through school and I was really just waiting tables, and I was a bartender while I did that. While working in restaurant, I met my husband, David. So I am married, and I've been married for 9 years. No children other than a very spoiled, rotten 10-year-old Corgi Chihuahua mix. So I am a certified, bona fide dog mom. On my filing cabinet back there, it's my husband and my dog. So, so they are my pride and joy. And then when I'm not working, I am a homebody. I am happiest most when I am on the couch, binging Netflix, and just eating, because I'm also a foodie. So food is my love language. So if I do go out, it's probably because I'm looking to try something new to eat in Sacramento now that everything's kind of opening up. So that's a little bit about me. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just get started. Let's go ahead and roll into it. All right, so some Target fast facts. So I'm sure everybody is pretty familiar with Target. The bullseye is pretty recognizable, but I want to be able to share some facts that you may not know about our company. So we are a general merchandise retailer with stores in every state and in the District of Columbia. We have, as Target as a whole, over 350,000 team members. HQ is in Minneapolis. And the first Target store was actually opened in 1962 under the Dayton company. So before it was called Target, it was part of the Dayton brand. Last year, we were able to do $93.6 million of revenue. We have just under 2,000 stores. What's something that I'm really proud about is that 5% of our profits go back to our communities. So we're all about representing our community, but then also being able to give back and do some really cool things within our community. We have 44 distribution centers. So I am in one of those 44 distribution centers. We do have 48 unique brands owned by Target. So sometimes you go in and you will see, like the Magnolia with Chip and Joanna Gaines. And so that's a Target brand through them. So really cool, because we give entrepreneurial opportunities to different people. We've got 20 offices globally. And of course, we have one awesome mascot, Bullseye. So being that I'm a dog mom, I had to include that. Okay, so I wanted to roll into a quick video just to kind of give a little bit of a highlight of the team.
My favorite part about my job is definitely the people I work with.
Being able to work with my team.
Definitely, I love working on teams, having that close personal relationship with my team. I definitely know each one of my team members on a first name basis. I know a lot about their personal lives.
They motivate me, they encourage me every day with their positive attitude and their engagement. We hire really awesome people at Target.
Qualities that we really look for when someone's joining the team is your ability to collaborate. I think that's the thing that really sets us apart in distribution is really there is no I, it's all about the team.
A distribution center is basically a network for Target that we utilize to hold freight. And when it's needed at the stores, we make sure that we are loading trailers and getting the right freight and merchandise pulled so that it can be delivered to the guest.
Distribution plays a huge role for Target. We're able to get the freight to our stores and being able to support our guests and being able to get the product out as fast as we can.
We play just a critical role in ensuring that the guest has an awesome experience when they walk into the store and that they have a seamless transition between when they want something and when it's available at the store for them.
What's great about working for Target is it's not just a job, it's a career. We've had team members here for sometimes 10, 20, 30 years. It's really cool.
I think at the end of the day, what's really great about working here is that our team members just really care about the guest.
Guests are our #1 priority. Working in a distribution center is very important to make sure we're getting the right product to the right guest at the right time.
All right. So I just wanted to play that just as a quick little intro as to what we do here in supply chain and kind of what the warehouse looks like and be able to let you guys hear for some people. We do have another video at the end that will give a little bit of a deeper look into the life of a team member. But I wanted to play that one just initially. So about RDC, which I will use for distribution center for short. So here's some fun facts about RDC specifically. So RDC is what's called a regional distribution center. So there's different models of distribution centers here at Target, and they serve different purposes. Ours specifically is regional, and it means that our 92 stores, we typically receive, house, and ship high velocity items. Things like laundry detergent, deodorant, shampoo, dog food, water, things like that. So those things come from a regional distribution center. Our facility is just about 2 million square feet. So it is large, very, very big. And here specifically, we have just under 1,300 team members that we employ. So our warehouse is fully automated, and we do have what's called the rover pick system. The rover pick system, in essence, is a storage automation that allows us to maximize our ability to house units within the warehouse. And it's able to put away freight into the structure and pull it on demand when needed. And if we only need part of that carton, we can actually rehouse it again. So it's a super neat thing here that we have. And what's really unique is that the rover pick system is a one of one. So this regional distribution center is the only one that has that rover pick system. Other facilities have a slightly different automation. So it's kind of cool being a one of one. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we do ship direct to 92 stores. At times it goes up a little bit more and we have closer to 95, 96, but right now it's 92 stores. All right, so the DC structure, being that we have 1,300 team members, we have lots of leaders and we have a very complex structure so that we can really work together as a team and make sure that we can kind of impact every step of the business here at the distribution center. So at the very top, if you will, is our senior distribution director, and he is the leader for the entire warehouse. He then leads a team of 6 or 7 senior operations managers who own departments. So every department that we have, which we'll go over later, has a senior operation manager. The senior operations managers lead a team of operations managers for every shift in every department. And then, of course, operation managers have team members. Team size vary from 40 team members to 80 or 90 team members. During our peak, which is typically from about October to January, teams can be almost 100 team members for one department and one shift. So very, very large. So this is kind of a good little representation, like a visual. So we have the senior director, the senior operations manager, and then the OM who is on the shift will lead both warehouse workers, which is the 2 W's. And then we also have lead warehouse workers, which is like a team lead that helps facilitate the shift and help with operations to move things along. All right, so within the facility, we have a ton of departments. So I've listed them here for you as far as the operational departments go, and I kind of wanted to explain each one here. So the first one that we have is inbound. So our inbound team is our receiving team. So if Procter & Gamble or Nestle are sending us a truck full of water or dog food, that inbound team is going to be responsible for receiving the freight from our vendors. The picture here that's actually in the slide is one of our main pieces of automation for inbound. That is called ART, which stands for Automated Receiving Technology. So when we receive freight from our vendors, some freight, the stores need it right now. So we're going to send it up that spiral and it's going to ride the conveyor system all the way to our shipping department. But some freight, maybe they don't need it right now. Maybe they don't need it for a few weeks. So we're going to house it in our warehouse. So then they will stage it on the receiving dock there for it to be picked up later. So these team members are responsible for, unloading the trucks, making sure that, what the vendor said that they gave us, they did. Is the quantity correct? How is the load quality when it got here? Where are we going to stage this product that needs to be housed? So all kinds of things like that for our inbound department. The next one is warehouse. So our warehousing department is really our transportation department, if you will, within the facility. So like I said, some freight's going to go straight to our shipping department to go to stores, but some freight, we're going to house it and it's going to stay there until later. So when they stage it on that dock and it needs to be taken to a different part of the building to be put away, our warehousing team members are going to take it there. So they're going to figure out, okay, where in the warehouse does this go? Where do we have openings? Where does it need to go based on like safety compliance? Because you don't want to have bleach on top of food, right? So like where does it need to go based on what kind of product it is and where we have space? So they're going to move it there. Later on, when those stores need that product, those warehousing team members are going to get the orders from the stores, and then they will go back and pick it for it to go to stores later. Break, pack, and packing. They do 2 functionally different things, but they're kind of the same department. So I'm going to kind of talk about them as one. So our packing team members will pack eaches for stores. So for example, maybe our store in Midtown Sacramento doesn't need a whole case of Dove shampoo. It's too much, because they don't sell that much of it. They only need 4 shampoos. So our packing team members are going to then take the 4 shampoos and they're going to put it in an overpack box to be sent to the store. Same with like socks. So maybe they don't need a whole case of socks with 200 pairs of socks, because they're not going to sell 200 pairs of socks. So maybe they only need 10 pairs of socks because that's all they're going to sell for the next week. So then our packing team members would put those 10 pairs of socks into the overpack boxes for that to be sent to the store. And then the rest of the socks will hold here until the stores need it. Our break pack team members, kind of like warehouse, are going to pick those cartons that we are going to then break out and then spread amongst the stores, because they don't need the entire case. So they're going to go help and pick that stuff for the packing team members to pack. And then lastly is outbound. So that is the final stop in the warehouse before something gets to the store. So our outbound team members are actually responsible for operating the longest piece of automation in our facility, which is called the mezzanine, and our sorter. So that conveyor system that will take a box all the way from inbound all the way to the shipping wing, and then it will automatically sort it to the correct trailer. So that's one of the biggest pieces of automation that we have. and our outbound team members operate that. But they also have to load the trailers too. So safety is a big thing here, making sure that we are building safe walls, we are loading cartons safely so that one, we're not getting hurt, and two, so that our product can get there to the store in one piece and looking good, and the product has integrity for the guest. Because, as you know, trucks are driving and we don't transport these trucks or teleport them. They have to go on the road, and there's bumps and there's turns and there's stops and there's starts. So we have to make sure that our load quality is nice and tight. So that way, when our product gets there, it's in tip-top shape for our guest. So those are our basic operational departments within the facility. Typically, this is where people join our team. When they apply and they get hired, it's within one of these departments here. And we fill them based on where there's the need for us to hire. So I did want to be able to kind of look forward though too, because while most people get started in one of these departments, there's so much opportunity here at Target and here at our facility specifically. So we have these operational departments, but there's all kinds of in-betweens. So we have support roles here at the facility too, that people, after they come and they get it through their probationary period, we have postings if there's openings and people can apply. So there's people that have gotten these sorts of roles with very little tenure. So I like to talk about that because of the opportunity. So the first one is asset protection. So our asset protection team does a lot of things. One, they protect our assets, whether that be goods and cartons, but also our people, making sure that everybody is safe, making sure that who's on campus is supposed to be here, making sure that we have theft under control. And then they also take part in the receiving of trailers from our vendors, so that we're logging what we're getting, but then also processing what's going out. So do we have that bill of lading? Are our trailers up to the Department of Transportation standards? So things like that. So those are a couple of responsibilities for our asset protection team. And then we have mechanics. We talked about all that automation, right? What happens if it breaks down? Because it does. It does. So we have a full mechanic team that is responsible for doing preventative maintenance, and then also troubleshooting and working on different pieces of automation whenever there is system downtime. The next thing that we have is the inventory control and quality assurance. So ICQA is what we call it. We're big on acronyms here at Target. So ICQA. And these team members make sure that the quality of our work is on par with industry standards. So if we say that we need 10 bags of dog food for the store in Natomas, did that person pull 10 bags of dog food, and did those 10 bags of dog food make it to the trailer? If not, if it was only 9, what happened to that 1 bag of dog food? Where did it go? Did we lose it somewhere? So they're able to kind of close those gaps, or did we just forget to pick it? Is it still where it was in the warehouse? So we find those gaps and we close them with our ICQA team to make sure that what we have on hand is what we're supposed to. And if there's any breakdown in quality, like a process step, like how do we fix that? How do we train our teams better so that we can make sure that we're accurate with our work? We do have clerical teams as well that help with store orders, and they also help with the receiving of trailers, being able to get them into a door to be offloaded so the truck drivers can have a good turnaround with how long they have their trailers at our facility. And then we have administrative assistants. We have 2 roles of that within our facility. So the first one is to our senior site director. He has an administrative assistant, and so does our engineering and facilities senior operations manager. They're responsible for a lot of booking travel, taking meeting notes. They also will make sure we have things ordered for supplies like office supplies, things like that. They also make sure that our team events are organized and set up. We have lots of events here where we will, by food for the team like quarterly. Or, maybe because it's hot, we're going to do ice creams, or we're going to go hand out waters, or water bottles, or we just did team swag where we just did Target hats with our building number is 555. So we had 3 nickels, right? Like triple nickel, 555. So it's a Target hat that we had custom made for our team. And so making sure that we have those ordered, do we have enough of all the sizes, and getting them distributed out to be able to give to every single team member. So that's kind of the task that the administrative assistants take care of. So target schedules and pay. So we have 4 different shifts here at the distribution center. So the first one is A1, and that is Saturday, Sunday, Monday from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then its counterpart is A2, which is just the reverse. Same days, but 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. And then we have 2 shifts that run during the week. And so B1 is Tuesday through Friday from 5 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And then B2, Tuesday through Friday from 3:30 p.m. to 2 a.m. Right now, specifically, we are hiring both seasonal work and regular team member full-time work. The shifts that are more desirable, like B1, for instance, that will be offered at seasonal work because there's a high demand for our team members that already work here to go there as a shift. So we don't typically hire full-time team members on B1, but we are hiring full-time work, primarily 2 on the night shifts for sure, this month and next month. So these are the shifts that we have available. I know, I'm super, super excited. So these are the shifts that we have available. When you go to apply, which I hope that you all do, it's going to ask you what shifts you are able to work. And online, they're going to say typically like 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. rather than 5 to 5, because our other buildings are 6 to 6. Ours is the only one that's 5 to 5. So don't be alarmed if you see that. It's just an example that they're going to show you in the application. Okay, it's just an example. These are the hours. But make sure that you select what you can work, because if you are offered a position here, you will be tied to that shift. So don't commit to working, let's say, 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. Overnight if that's not something that you can do. There's still opportunity on other shifts. It just may not be full-time opportunity. But that said, there is a good chance that if people come to work and they do what they're supposed to do as a team member, we want to convert those seasonal workers to full-time work. So there is opportunity for that as well. But again, it likely will not be on like a B1 shift. That takes some time to be able to get there with your tenure. Wages. So warehouse associate, which is part of like that packing department, if you will. They started at $18.30 an hour. Warehouse worker, which is every other department that I went over on that first screen, and we'll start at $21.45 an hour. And then additionally, just to kind of incentivize, because who wants to work graveyards overnight? We have shift premiums and differentials as well. And they vary from shift to shift that are night shifts and weekend shifts, because, excuse me, we do understand that it's not as desirable to work on the weekends or overnight. So it ranges anywhere from $1 to $2 extra an hour for those night shifts. Okay, I'm going to take a drink of water. All right, so there are so many perks about being employed with Target. Once people are hired to full-time, or if they're hired straight in to full-time, we've got really great benefits. We've got medical benefits, dental, vision. We have programs for people who might want to go back to school and get a higher education. We've got programs to help reimburse tuition. We have team member discounts, all sorts of things. And of course, on the financial side, we do have an awesome 401k plan. We've got healthcare and flex spending accounts, life insurance, identity theft protection, all sorts of things. So day one benefits. Even if you get hired with us as a seasonal team member, There's so many benefits that you can take advantage of. So we have our team member life resources, which is administered by Beacon. And that allows team members to have access to resources and to like counseling that's free for every Target team member day one. Not just you, but anybody who lives in your household. And you can get counseling services for things like maybe you struggle with depression. Maybe you've lost a loved one and you're going through grieving and you need help. We offer that day one. We also have Cyrus and D, which is telehealth, essentially, that is free for every single Target team member day one, and anybody in your household too. So maybe you aren't feeling well and you've got certain symptoms and you don't really know what they mean. Instead of going to awful Google, you can call Cyrus and D, or you can have a text message appointment with a real doctor. And so Target takes care of that. And then, of course, for non-seasonal team members, we went over some of those benefits as well. So that's what's really cool is that, day one, whether you're a seasonal or not, there's so many benefits that you can have access to as a Target team member. Okay, so performance expectations. So I like to be super transparent, right? There's no getcha gotchas here. So I wanted to be able to explain to you what makes someone successful at Target as a Target team member. So we have 6 performance factors, which are listed here for you. And that's how we judge someone's performance. That's how we measure their performance to understand whether or not someone is meeting expectations. So the first thing is safety. So safety is defined as helping maintain a safe work environment. Safety is on top for a reason. It is our #1 priority. Following safety best practices in your training is non-negotiable. Because at the end of the day, I don't care how much hand sanitizer or toilet paper we sent out for the pandemic, if people are getting hurt, right? Like, we're all here to be able to provide a better life for our families. And we can't do that if we're going home in different shape than we came in. So safety is on top for a reason. The next is quality. So that's being able to complete your work with very minimal errors. Next is teamwork, which is helping contribute to a positive work environment. Next is productivity. So that's being able to complete your daily work assignments and meeting common expectations when it comes to our productivity percentages. Job knowledge, I'm going to go back to reliability in a minute, but job knowledge knows and uses all job related skills. We don't expect you to come in and know how to do the job necessarily. That's okay. We've got a ton of people here that have never done this sort of work. We will train you, but there comes a point where you should be able to articulate what your job is and how to properly do it. And then the last thing I want to talk about is reliability. So reliability means kind of 2 things. It's dual faceted. So the first thing is obviously showing up to your scheduled shifts on time and staying for the duration of your shift. But it also means being able to stay on task when your manager has their back turned. So can you work with low amount of supervision? So we need our team members to be able to stay on task, whether they're being, observed by their leaders or not, because our business is productivity driven. It's highly competitive, and we have to make sure that we're being as efficient as possible, which is important in a warehouse, right? Because if you think about it, Target stores, they sell things, right? They sell things. And so the more stuff they sell, the more people they can have working. In supply chain, we don't sell anything. We're only an expense. So we have to make sure we're being as efficient as possible. We're staying on task. And when we're supposed to be working, we're working. So those are the 6 performance factors. I can tell you that the #1 reason why people don't succeed here, if they don't, it's for reliability, which is typically the easiest thing for people to control. If you come to work and you work safe, then you're probably going to do well here. The rest we can kind of figure out, right? We can get there. But not coming to work, that's kind of hard to overcome. So, okay, so those are the 6 performance factors. I have one more video, and then we can open up for questions.
I work Tuesday through Friday, 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. I've always been a night person. Mornings are really bad for me, so this night shift is a lot easier. Oh, we have a shift for just about everybody. People that want to work the normal 9 to 5 kind of thing. We got 6 to 4 isn't too bad. Or take 3 days on the weekend. You get 4 whole days off. A lot of people working the night shift like to spend the day with their family. First thing we do is we staff where we're going to work the day. We have different options, so we all take turns doing different things. Then we get announcements from the boss.
Congratulations, 50 days safe. So nice work with that.
3. And then we do warm up for work. It's a set of stretches to help us stay in shape. The most physically challenging part about outbound is probably move 4,000 boxes a night. We'll put big boxes up front here and then backfill it with some small boxes. Always make sure you're on your step stool above about here. Stay safe. You don't want to be lifting heavy stuff above your head if you don't need to. Build a good wall, make sure it's easier for the store to unload. Some items that can't ride the conveyor, like bagged dog food and extra large TVs, they get sorted by hand. I really like the physical work, keeps me in shape. Get better at it every day, makes me feel good about my job.
I love working at Target. I've had a lot of different opportunities. Most of the warehouse people learn a lot of stuff. We get to drive most of the equipment. This is our order picker or stock picker. We pick what we call carton air, which means we're pulling cartons out of the air. As long as you don't mind heights and a little bit of rocking, they're actually pretty fun. And for safety, we all have to wear a harness. We have to make sure our leg straps, our chests are good. We have to test this every time you get on it. You pull it slow, you can tell that it'll stop. Safety is key. Every time we leave an aisle, we stop and honk. Every time you go a crosswalk, we stop and honk. Switch hands, switch arms. Anytime during the day you can stop. You can do a little bit of stretching. If you feel like something's tightening up, we have nurses here in the building. They would be the people that would help you and just so that you do not hurt yourself. We have what's called an OM, which is an operation manager. They're always open for a better idea. It doesn't have to even be one from your department. They're all accessible to talk to. Everyone has pride in their work. They want to be a #1 building. They want to do the job. It's kind of like a big family, actually.
This is the Food DC. It's all the cold foods, the frozen foods. It's about 34 degrees in here. It's amazing how much I actually sweat in 34 degrees. You're moving around, getting the sweat on. T2103, that's the store number that it's going to be going to. So yeah, all this for one store. Getting ready for work for a second shift that I work. You can get up at noon. I get up usually about 11:30. I love sleeping in. And then my husband sometimes comes home for lunch for work, so we see each other before I go to work. The people are awesome to work with. Environment's good. When my friends ask me about how I stay in the cold so much and how I like it, I'm prepared for it. I have my bibs, I have my wool socks, my gloves. I'm faster now than when I started. I just keep going and the cold does nothing to me anymore. There we go. The things I like best about this job is I'm helping the guests out. I am hand delivering their item essentially to their stores. Like, I picked this item for you because you ordered it.
Working in a Target distribution center as an hourly team member is an awesome place to work. We act as one team here. We're working towards a common goal. We have a culture like no other. We work hard, but we help, we teach, we train to make sure that you're successful here in the building and we're able to accomplish those goals to be able to get that product out to our stores.
All right.
What a great video. I love it.
I know, it's fantastic. So I will tell you about with the one who was in the 34 degrees. That is a food distribution center. So that does not happen here specifically. But I will tell you, full transparency, it's actually kind of the reverse. So here in our facility, there are only a few places that are climate controlled. So in the summertime, it actually can get quite warm. So it's not really the cold that you're battling. It's more so the heat during the summer months. But outside of that, it's very reflective of exactly what we do here in this building.
So we're going to do questions at this point. And I know there was a few in the chat and then we can open it up. I know it was asked before, but in the Sacramento area, or talking about other locations, can you just repeat that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So if you are looking for an opportunity with Target in supply chain, it would be in Woodland for this area. The closest building to us from here is in the Bakersfield area, which is the building I came from. If you are wanting to join Target in stores, because there's opportunity there too, you would just need to go to target.com and apply to the stores locations. The pay will not be quite the same. The scheduling won't be the same. It's different because it's directly retail, whereas in warehousing, it is more shift work. So it is a totally different makeup, and I don't have a ton of information for stores, but for the warehouse, it would be Woodland.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes.
So another question we have is, do you guys have jobs in Target for the ones who can't speak English as well? So maybe they understand it, but aren't super
right.
fluent.
And that's it. We have different people that with varying levels of fluency in English. So being a perfect English speaker is not required. That said, all of our training is written in English, and it will be trained in English. So there would need to be enough understanding to be able to understand the training material and then apply the training to the work, because we got to make sure we're keeping people safe. So to be able to navigate the application process and then get through training, that level of fluency would be required.
So one other question is the age requirement, 18?
18.
Sorry.
Yeah.
When I know you gave us a QR code, which most of everybody on this call got that QR code for the application process or the 2 positions that are open. I know you mentioned, my question is there's a seasonal and non-seasonal. If one has a preference, do they get an option to choose, or is it something that you guys would do upon hiring?
Are you talking about for seasonal versus non-seasonal?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So really where that lies is in the shifts and what you're able to work, like I was talking earlier. So if somebody is only able to work Tuesday through Friday from 5 a.m. to 3:30, you will not likely, it's not impossible, but it's not likely that you would get hired necessarily as a full-time team member off the bat. So that's more so because that shift is so desirable. We have a process in-house that allows people who've already been here to kind of post out and apply for different shifts as they've been here. So we give that opportunity to our in-house team members before we necessarily hire somebody from the outside into a shift that's desirable. So other than that, though, there's so much opportunity for both. We are looking to hire hundreds of people in the next 90 days, a few hundred. So there's not one spot available. There's a lot, a lot for both seasonal work and for full-time work.
So thank you so much. So my question also is some students, or some of us have not worked in warehouse, or if we worked in warehouse, maybe where we've been hasn't really been so great. What if you get in and you're like, yeah, this isn't really working. Is it something we can come to, you or come to our ops manager and be like, can we transition something? Like, does that happen?
Absolutely. So what I will tell you is that I think it is important to understand the job, right? Because we can't necessarily change the job or what it is that you've been hired to do. And if it's not your cup of tea, then this work isn't for you. And that's okay. It's not for everybody. I don't know that I could be in an order picker going up and picking cartons. I just don't know that that's my jam, and that's okay. Now, if there are specific things that are cultural things within your team, or if you've got concerns about your training, your leader is always going to be your first line of defense because they're on the floor with you. But HR is always here as a resource if you have concerns, or if you need to report maybe something that's unethical or something like that. We are here and we're on site. Like I said, I am one of 2 HR business partners, and then I manage a team of 6 HR specialists. So we are here on site during normal business hours to be able to assist you in that, but your leader would be the first line of defense.
So essentially, one of the major recommendations is really looking at the job description and the duties of that particular job before you apply.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then if you say that you can lift, 60 pounds, we ask that because that's a part of the job. Like it really truly is. And if you're like, I don't want to do that, then this opportunity may not be for you. But if you're like, oh, all day, I can, I'm about it, I'm interested, you want to come give it a shot, then absolutely. But definitely, make sure that you understand that could be you loading trailers.
Understood.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Are you able to be rehired if you work there? And if so, what's the process?
That depends. It depends on why you are no longer with us. And I am not going to, in a large setting, talk about that. That person is absolutely able to reach out to either my HR office so we can talk specifically, or we can reach out to the regional HR occupational center for Target.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But if they left amicably, like everything, they just needed, maybe take care of their dad, whatever, right? Just would they be able to apply, or do you want them to go to HR, talk about that, and then you'll give them the direction? Is that
anybody can always apply. You just may or may not get hired. And I wouldn't know without being able to talk to someone about their specific situation. But somebody is always welcome to apply.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Hi, Crystal.
Hi, hey girl, what's up? I just had a question in regards to, because you were talking about other supportive roles that you can get out of after probation. So my question was, how long is the probation period? And then if someone were to take a seasonal position, or like the B1 schedule, like how long are they seasonal? Are they seasonal for like, is it like 3 months, 6 months, something like that? Because you said they're not going to be considered for full-time. So what exactly is a time frame as a seasonal worker? And then what is the time period as a probation before you can apply to do something different?
Those are very good questions. So I'm going to start with the seasonal period, and I'm going to go from there. Okay. So people typically on the more desirable shifts, they're going to be typically hired as a seasonal. It's not that they're not eligible for full-time, because in fact, if we get seasonals, because to our full-time opportunity will kind of come and go just based on the job market. So it's not that they're not eligible for being hired on as a regular team member. If they are, they will not stay on that shift, because again, it is the desirable shift. So we hire seasonal there because it's supposed to be temporary. But if we're like, you know what, this person's a rock star, like we want to offer them a regular team member position, then we're going to put them in the shifts and offer them a shift that is unfortunately typically less desirable. So it's not that it's not possible, because it is. Seasonal periods are 6 months, and people can be offered a full-time position after, couple of weeks, couple of months. Maybe it'll take right up to that end. Maybe we don't have quite the demand to bring on full time, so the seasonal period will end, and then that person can reapply, and that's nothing bad. The seasonal period just came to an end, and they can reapply within 90 days should they wish, if their season just ended. So it just kind of depends, and it kind of depends on the person. If the person comes in and they are just killing it and they're a rock star and we've got spots, we're likely gonna offer. If we don't have a ton of spots, we might have to be a little more selective. So that varies. It varies on the person and also varies on the business condition. Now, when someone is hired full-time, we typically want them to at least be 6 months into a department before we really want them moving on to something else. Typically, it takes about 6 months. I've seen it end a little bit before that, where somebody is proficient, but typically we require that. Additionally, those support roles require a little bit more knowledge of the overall operation, being able to really understand like the big picture. Yeah. So people are typically more successful once they've been here for at least 6 months before moving on to like a support role.
Right. Yeah. I had another question. So I had a couple. I just didn't want to be like, hey, 6,000 questions.
You're okay.
With the pay differential between the associate and the worker, is that a difference between the operation departments, like those roles in which you do, or is that the differential between the shift periods?
So no, so the warehouse associate is what we call our packers, and they make a little less because the physical demands in regards to like weight lifting requirements and the physicality is a little bit less. So therefore the pay is reflected there. The warehouse worker, which covers that inbounds, receiving, that outbound, the shipping, the break pack, and the warehousing, that's all under warehouse worker.
Okay.
Those are a little bit more, laborious and physically laborious. So the pay is reflected.
Got it. And then one more question. I saw the last team member, he was on a forklift. Is that also a position that's available when you're a warehouse worker? Or is that like something that you can petition for, like a support role, like within the warehouse, like after probation period?
Operating powered equipment?
Yeah.
Yeah, so warehouse associates, our packers, do not operate powered equipment, which is also why the wage is a little bit less.
Okay.
Our warehouse worker, whether that be inbound, outbound warehouse, they do operate powered equipment. There's multiple functions though within each department. So not every function will require powered equipment, and it's not something that you would specifically apply for. When you get in place into a department within the warehouse worker, you kind of start at like 101, whether it's outbound 101 or inbound 101. So for outbound specifically, it would be loading the trailers. That would be, and that wouldn't require powered equipment. For inbound, it's unloading. But then once you've hit proficiency in that, there's opportunity to be trained in different functions within your department that may require powered equipment.
Got it. So if someone already has like experience within the forklift, they would just need to go in as a warehouse worker, know the basics, and then be able to use that later after they've already got knowledge within the warehouse.
Right. So yeah, you would come in, you would kind of do 101. And then once you've been deemed proficient, and should we need more equipment operators, you would then be trained. Even if you have a certificate, we still do all of our in-house training.
In-house training.
And so you would go through the in-house training and then learn a new function. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, yeah, most definitely. I just saw them rolling around. I was like, hey, is that something you're able to apply for or not? And just from her asking, like, can you be rehired? I was just thinking like maybe she was already maybe like a team member and, maybe looking at advance or do something different. So I didn't know how that looks in regards to like, hey, I've already kind of done this. Is it possible I can come in and, be a lead or be, you know what I mean? Like if in that case.
Yeah. So typically people kind of start at the 101, but then there is opportunity there always to learn new things. As long as people are showing proficiency and they're performing within those 6 performance factors, then we want to be able to, train as soon as we have the opportunity to do so and teach people new things.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
One is some of our students have background. So, what is the,
So that is, unfortunately, that is not handled in-house. We don't do hiring in-house. It's all automated. I can tell you though, but just having a background or not having a perfect background is not going to disqualify you from our opportunity. There is a lot of specific reasons why somebody might be denied for background, but just having one will not. I know that there's individuals who work here who, have had a background.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that they're encouraged to apply as well.
Absolutely.
A normal question I ask, I know.
Absolutely. I don't want anyone here to be discouraged or feel like that they shouldn't because they have something on their background, because like I said, there's individuals who work here who've been in similar boats, and opportunities there, and it may not work out for you, but it's not like a blanket. If you have a background, then that's not the case.
Awesome. And then can you explain the part-time shift? What is that? And can you also give an example?
We don't offer part-time work. It's seasonal or not, but those are the schedules. And so the ones that we went over. And that is just the base schedule. There are times where we offer additional hours and shifts, and there's also times where we require it. When that happens, we tell our team members in advance. So there's no like, oh, by the way, you need to be here at 5 a.m. Like that's not how it works. We tell people, much in advance, but that base schedule is your schedule. We don't deviate from those shifts.
Okay, great. And then also, so we do have like a truck driving program. It's a CTE program Highlands offers, where they have get their Class A.
Oh.
There's an opportunity, just say they start in the warehouse, and then they want to utilize their truck driving license or Class A. Is it an opportunity for them to kind of get into that, or how it is? Do you guys hire for truck drivers at all?
So, right. So not directly, no. If while you're working on that, this can be a great gig while you work on that. And we'd love to have you. That said, though, we do contract our transportation and logistics. So if you're looking to be a truck driver, our building specifically, it's CR England and Swift. So we do not do that internally.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
My question is, if somebody no have paper, I can work there or can get a job there?
Yeah, we do have the full I-9 requirements.
So you have to be authorized to work in the United States in order to work for Target.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question. My name is Delfina Escobar.
Hello, Delfina.
Hi. Thank you for your information. But I would like to know, I'm almost 60 years old. Do I have any opportunity to work with you?
Absolutely. So a person's age is not something that we would disqualify them to be a candidate here. Number one, that's super unethical. And number two, it's against the law. So we would never discriminate against somebody because of their age. I always encourage people, whether, not because of age, but just for interest and to understand that this is a laborer's job, to take a look at the profile and the job description. And if you feel like that it's for you, and that's an opportunity you would like to take advantage of, then please do so. But age is not something that would disqualify you from this opportunity.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It's starting from 5 a.m. and finish it to 5 p.m. It took 12 hours at the day, but it's all time, regular time, or maybe 4 hours overtime.
Yep, you're absolutely correct. Yep. So the shifts works out to 11 and a half hours because there is at least one half unpaid 30-minute meal period. So you're on the clock for either 11 or 11 and a half hours. And then, yes, you are correct that it is not based all the way through.
But we just want to say thank you, Brittany, for coming here and really speaking to our students about this opportunity. Like you said earlier, you have hundreds of positions to fill, and we hope that everyone on this call is going to apply as well. So we just want to say again, thank you.
Oh, of course. It was my absolute pleasure. And I hope to see some of your faces around our facilities. So thank you for having me.